Hello, welcome in to Get Ready With Me. I love doing these videos when I'm just in the mood to chat. I actually asked you guys for some topic suggestions for this video, so we're gonna go ahead and be utilizing those. And let's get ready together because I think I'm actually gonna film another video after this, so that's what we're getting ready for. I have, of course, my lovely spa headband on, which is how you know it's time to do my makeup. As usual on these Get Ready With Me videos, I will have all of the products that I'm using linked down below. Starting off, of course, with the Luminous Silk Foundation, which is my obsession. Shout out Giorgio Armani. So the first topic that was requested was to talk about how I'm balancing life with a full-time job, 2 channels, endless passions, and maintaining relationships. I thought this was really interesting. I talk a lot about balance, I think, and I created a vlog in October, completely centered around how I find balance with the various aspects of my life. Something that I think is critical to maintaining your sanity while trying to strive for balance is understanding that not every day of your life is going to feel balanced, and that's okay. There are different seasons, different days, even different weeks that have different focuses, and it's okay to kind of switch up what has your foot on the gas versus what you're just kind of coasting on in different areas of your life, depending on how much time you have, where your interests lie, like what passions you want to prioritize. And that's something that I've really had to come to terms with, especially this month. I did start a second channel, which it was something that I had debated for a long time because I did feel a little bit crazy adding something else to my plate when I already feel like I do a lot. And this is something that my friends often say to me as well. Wow, you do a lot for someone who only really has 2 free days during the week. And that's true. Trying to simultaneously tackle this second channel and uploading consistently on it, as well as the writing challenge that I'm doing in November, which is a huge undertaking, while also maintaining all of the things that I already had on my plate, has been difficult. It's been challenging. So first of all, I just want to say that I'm not always handling it perfectly, right? Like there are definitely days and times where I am overwhelmed or where things are slipping through the cracks and it's a little hard. Something that has helped me recently is just trying to eliminate this feeling of rushing on things where I don't need to create that feeling. It's really alluring to try and grow as fast as you can, to try and finish a rough draft as fast as you can and make progress at a super like crazy accelerated rate. But something that's been really saving my sanity lately is just kind of letting go of that and having a more relaxed approach of like, so many of these things that are on my plate are self-assigned. There's no actual due dates for when I need to get up videos. There's no, hard deadlines. While I want to hold myself accountable, and I already know that I will because that's my natural state, is to hold myself accountable, I also don't need to put this ticking time clock on everything. And I've said this before, but I would rather have a happy, balanced life and take a little bit longer to reach my goals than reach them faster and run myself into the ground in the process and forget to enjoy my life during that whole process of trying to reach those goals. I think something that's been really key for me when it comes to striking balance is finding out what are the non-negotiables that you need to feel good on a given day and building your productivity around those things. So for me, that's typically a workout most days of the week and also getting enough sleep. So those are the non-negotiables, right? And then everything else needs to fit around that. Having those, I like to call them like keystone habits that I know if I'm doing them, I'm feeling good and I'm probably going about my life in a much better headspace. That's been really critical for like balancing all of this. Something else that's been at the top of my mind recently is allowing there to be space for intuition and interest in what I'm planning. What do I mean by this? You crave different things on different days. You crave different things on different months. I think it's important to allow yourself to pivot and shift how you're spending your time to take advantage of those natural fluxes of motivation and inspiration. So like I mentioned, I was a little hesitant to start the second channel because I was like, Brielle, you've been grinding on this main channel for a long time. Do you really want to split your attention right now when you probably should be focusing on this one channel to grow as much as you can? I wrestled with that for so long in the same way that I wrestled with not writing a book for a long time because I was like, Brielle, this doesn't make sense. And what I kind of learned and what I'm grateful that I did was that I followed my interest and my intuition and kind of ignored the logical side of things for a bit. I really was feeling called to write this book and I really was was feeling called to start this channel, and I went for it even though the logical part of my brain was like, maybe this isn't the best use of your time. And I feel like I've reaped rewards from following that intuition, because I don't know, I personally believe that what you're being called to for a reason. I just feel like it's a lot easier to get into flow and to just feel really excited about what you're working on and what you're doing when you are listening to those little voices that are telling you, hey, maybe you should try this, or like, maybe this would be fun, maybe this new venture is like a good idea. And I think it's a balance here, because I also think longevity and consistency is what brings the rewards. Like, so many people are so flippant with their interests and passions that it's like they never stick with something long enough to see the rewards. And I think that that's the negative side of that coin. So I just want to preface that. I think it would be a mistake, for example, if I got so excited by this new shiny object of the book and the new channel that I completely stopped uploading on this channel, which I've been working on for over 2 years and is just starting to get momentum. So I think that's important, is to find this balance between chasing where your passion is and where your interest is, listening to that, honoring that, but also allowing yourself to stay consistent and stick with something for long enough to really see those rewards. In terms of balancing the two channels, something else that I've really had to come to terms with is that when you are ramping up quantity, you might have to sacrifice in terms of how much time you're dedicating to each video or how elaborate each video is. And that's something that I had to be okay with, at least for the month of November, is creating a bit of simpler videos from time to time on either channel so that it's sustainable for me to upload to both. And I'm okay with that. I feel like that's something that I've accepted. I really see an opportunity with the new channel. It's growing a lot faster than I could have anticipated, which has been really cool to see. If you guys saw my monthly reset, I set a subscriber goal for that channel of 50 subscribers by the end of the month. And the channel is currently sitting at 335 subscribers. So the growth of it has been completely unexpected, totally taken me by surprise. And I think it would be really silly of me to not try and capitalize on that momentum. So I'm kind of taking signs from what's working and what I'm feeling naturally called to do and shifting my focus accordingly. I'm not completely dropping the ball on this main channel because I've been working on it for 2 years. I'm not trying to like sabotage my growth on here, but I am also taking a hint when something is going really well and I'm feeling really excited about it, that I should take advantage of this and I should keep the ball rolling. That random thing that looks kind of interesting but you're not quite sure about, sometimes that is the move, that is the direction. And sometimes you have to listen to those little feelings of what you're being called to prioritize. Something I've really been working on lately, because I did have a little bit of an overwhelmed breakdown 2 weeks ago, is creating boundaries, and most specifically creating boundaries in terms of what I work on during the work week and when I work on those things. Just in general, when you have a lot of things on your plate, I think sectioning off your time and trying to limit the number of things you're focusing on in a given day is critical to maintaining that sanity. If you are trying to work on 6 different tasks or hustles in a given day, you might be feeling overwhelmed. Something else that's been helping me that's actually kind of surprising has been making less to-do lists and kind of planning less, which I'm shocked to see. I'm not sure how long this will last, but I found myself getting really overwhelmed when I was making these big weekly to-do lists, and it got to the point where it wasn't helpful. It was really just overwhelming. Now I've been taking things a little bit more one day at a time, which I love, because based on how I'm feeling that day and anything that comes up, I can adjust my plans in real time instead of getting frustrated that I'm no longer able to do what I had wanted to do on that day. Plus, it also allows me to be a little bit more swayed by what I'm feeling like doing that day, which is something I'm trying to pay more attention to, because I want to focus on not just functioning from my brain, but also functioning from like my heart and my little soul and what they want from me. The relationships bit of this question I also think is important, because every time I lean too far into productivity and start neglecting relationships, I feel very icky very quick, and I feel incredibly guilty for neglecting responding to people or just the people in my life, giving them my undivided attention just because there's something that I want to be working on. So for me, relationships and fitness have become kind of the top of the tower in terms of the things that I try not to allow to get sacrificed. I'd rather sacrifice a video upload than getting my workouts in and calling my mom, you know? I also try to have a pretty hard line of the days that my boyfriend is off, because he has off in the middle of the work week, those evenings are really reserved to spending time with him, regardless of what else I have on my plate. If I have spare moments where maybe he wants to get something done and it makes sense for me to go work on personal projects, I will do that. But generally speaking, I try to limit working on things on those nights, and that's also a nice boundary to have, because again, then I don't feel weird or guilty about not working on my stuff. I'm just like, no, it's like a day that Jeff has off. Like, this is dedicated to spending time with him, and any random work I'm able to get done is a bonus. I also got a request to talk about how to overcome your fears and chase your passions, specifically putting yourself out there on YouTube. So this is interesting. I feel like this isn't something I've talked about in a long time, and I have some like very random miscellaneous tips that I've been thinking about more recently. One thing that I think helps with starting on YouTube or just putting yourself out there in any sense that's a little scary is just trying to pretend that nobody's watching. This is something that I've actually been trying to reinstate, because I find myself getting a little shy and a little self-conscious when I think too much about the fact that there are people that I know who watch my videos. Honestly, it helps me just to pretend that I'm literally speaking to like kind of nobody, or that nobody I know is gonna see the videos. That sort of delusional sense of talking into the void, I guess. There's so much advice I could give for this, but I feel like really the core of it is just, and this is like a little intense, but it's true, this is your one life, your one shot. And I just don't think it's worth living your life in a way that you're not fully happy with, or where you feel like there's things that you want to do that you're not allowing yourself to do just because you're worried about how someone else might judge you in a split moment. It's uncomfortable. It's super uncomfortable. If you're waiting to not feel uncomfortable with putting yourself out there, it's never going to happen. You're always going to have that fear, that insecurity, and you just need to work with it and work through it rather than allowing it to stop you from acting. I'm sorry that my lens is like literally falling off the camera as we speak. Oh my God, it's so annoying. It might happen again. I'm just gonna put that out there. Yeah, the fear's never gonna go away. You just have to like learn to live with that, and it's gonna be uncomfortable. It's gonna be super awkward. I'm still super uncomfortable with telling people in my real life about it, or getting comfortable with the idea of people I know watching my videos. Like I said, it's not comfortable. I think the discomfort is worth it though, to give yourself a shot at your dreams and the things that you want to do with your life. At the end of the day, you're not gonna regret doing something that made people judge you. You're gonna regret not going after that thing that you wanted to do. I just feel like, you know, what's the point of going through the motions of life if you're not doing it how you want to be doing it? I don't know, it's your one life. Don't you want people to see who you really are and what you really love? A couple more just like practical tips. Something that really helped me at the beginning was committing to a specific time period and promising to myself that I was going to be consistent for that length of time. So for me, it was like, okay, I'm gonna do this for a year, and then I can reevaluate and see if it's something I want to continue. But for this year of 2021 or whatever, I'm gonna upload every week, and there's no negotiating that. It doesn't matter how the videos do. Like, no matter what, I'm going to keep this promise to myself. And that's what really got me through that first year, as well as just focusing on the showing up part and the doing the motions part, as opposed to the quality, the growth, the results. Obviously, this is a little bit easier said than done, and I wasn't always perfect at it, but I tried to focus just on the consistency part of posting every week and not think too much about what I was sharing, the audience I was creating. So that really helped me get past some of those mental barriers of being really scared to start, because even though now I feel like I have a more chill perspective and I'm not that insecure about this in the way that I was, when I started, I was really, really scared, like very, very scared, terrified to do this. So I totally feel for you if you're in that position and you just like don't have it in you to start yet. I was there, I've been in your shoes, but the future version of you that's been at it for a while and that's gotten comfortable on camera and loves making videos is going to thank this scared, insecure, unsure version of you. And this applies to literally any passion, interest, pursuit. I feel like I'm always kind of putting myself back in those beginner's shoes with something. Like right now it's writing. I feel like a bit of an imposter. I feel like I have so much to learn in that sphere, but I like kind of putting myself back in that beginner mindset from time to time, because I feel like that's where you grow the most. And it's cool to see yourself go from zero with a skill to then feeling a lot more comfortable and confident in that thing. Embrace that beginner's mindset mindset. Embrace the fact that you don't know everything. Embrace the fact that it's going to be really tough and you're probably not going to see good numbers for a while. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, it boils down to being okay with being embarrassed, putting yourself in the line of fire to potentially be publicly embarrassed, knowing that being embarrassed is okay and that you can survive that, and it's not the be all end all that it feels like. You know, you can publicly embarrass yourself and bounce right back. It's okay. And again, accepting that it's going to be hard, uncomfortable, awkward, but choosing to do it anyway, and knowing that you need to act when you're still scared and you're still in that uncomfortable mindset in order to get to the place where you no longer feel that way. If you have like close friends or people in your life that you're willing to talk to about this thing that you want to pursue, having an accountability buddy can be really helpful. So somebody that you can just ask to maybe ask you about this passion project, check in like, hey, are you working on that YouTube channel? Have you posted that first video? Making some sort of bet with them of like, if I don't do this by the end of the month, you can like chew me out, or I'll have to buy you a coffee. I don't know, whatever you gotta do. I think at this point, I definitely turn to people in my life to hold me accountable and check in on me about whether or not I'm working towards certain goals. I think that can be really fun too, because then you can talk to somebody about these goals instead of just burrowing in on yourself and getting all insecure and scared. Transparently though, I don't think that would have been an option when starting my channel. I think keeping it secret is one of the things that helped me have the nerve to do it. Also, don't feel pressure to post publicly about whatever passion project you're pursuing. When you first start, I think it's awesome if you have the nerve and you want to do that, but if that's what you need to take off the table in order to make yourself go for it, remove that little mental barrier. Say you want to start a YouTube channel, but you're like, oh shit, am I gonna have to post this on my Instagram story and show everyone I know in order to get those first 20 subscribers? It ain't worth it, let me just tell you. A little boost at the beginning of your channel can be nice, but it's not what's gonna make or break your long-term growth. So if you have to, you know, keep it super secret and not promote it anywhere in order to have the bravery to do it, I'd say go for it. Another topic request was, where do you feel you most self-sabotage in your life? Food, social, career, etc. Also, I've been obsessed with this NYX fat oil stuff. It's just like a lip oil. I feel like it makes me look so like hydrated, glowy, you know? So I thought this question was super interesting. I couldn't think of an answer immediately. Honestly, I feel like the way I self-sabotage the most is just not always being the best at prioritization. And oftentimes this results in me having to stay up really late or just feeling really stressed out because there's something that I so clearly could have and should have done yesterday, earlier in the day, etc. Yet I chose to put it off, and therefore I'm causing myself extreme unnecessary stress. Something I'm trying to work on is actively making decisions to minimize the stress levels of current me and future me. So I'm actually trying to consciously think about that when I'm making decisions now. One of my worst habits is that I tend to be late. I unfortunately am the type of person that's often late, and I hate that I do this because it just adds a ton of unnecessary stress to my day when I could have very easily left 5 minutes earlier and it wouldn't have changed much, you know? I literally don't know why I do this. It is some subconscious urge to wait till the last possible minute. I have no idea. It's genuinely a red flag to me, but it is something I'm trying to work on, where I'm like, okay, Brielle, we're gonna leave now because that's going to make your walk to this place so much more pleasant, or that's going to make your drive over so much less stressful. And this is you looking out for you because I want to have as low stress of a life as possible, and it's just such a silly thing to cause myself stress over, you know? It's literally something I'm playing myself with. So I honestly think that's one of the biggest ways that I self-sabotage too. So lacking effective priorities and not prioritizing well, and to just letting myself be late for things, which, I mean, I just don't want to be that type of person, and I also don't want to cause myself that kind of stress if I don't have to. All right, I think we're gonna wrap this up here because I've been filming for a long ass time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love these opportunities to just kind of chat about things with you guys. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I never say that, but maybe I should start saying it. If this is your first time on the channel and you've never seen me before, hello, my name is Brielle. I'm 24 years old. I live in Los Angeles, California, and I make content about life in my 20s, personal development, and productivity. So if any of that interests you, definitely be sure to subscribe. If you want to support me on Ko-fi, I will have my page linked down below where you can buy me a virtual coffee. I'll see you guys next week with another one. Bye!